upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. Okay, and that goes to show you too. And that's a subtlety right there. Let me read that again. It says, "For behold, I am for you, and I'll turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. Okay, and I'll multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it." Okay, so according to that scripture, which is in the Old Testament, which apparently these so-called Jews still deal with, so if they are the real people, how can they be with the real people? For two reasons. One, the land ain't fruitful. They're going to bring in and import all types of goods. Okay, but two, the scripture says that the Lord was going to bring all of Israel, even all of it. Now that's alluding to the fact that when you go into the history, well-known history, you find out the house of Israel was split after King Solomon. Okay, Rehoboam and Jeroboam. One ruled the northern kingdom, one ruled the southern kingdom. Okay, now after the now you had it to where the Assyrians, they're coming into providence. Okay, Tiglath-Pileser III, he's doing his thing. Okay, and I believe Tiglath-Pileser III, he was kind of cool with the Israelites in the house of Judah. Okay, and I believe there was even a war that they fought. And during that war, Tiglath-Pileser III might have sided with the house of Judah at that time, and he came up against the house of Israel because there was a lot of infighting. Okay, but that's that's neither here nor there. So Tiglath-Pileser III's sons were what? Shalmaneser the fifth, okay, Shalmaneser the fourth, all right, and Sargon the second, okay, and then the Sargon the second, you had Sennacherib. Okay, Sennacherib was the son of Sargon II, I believe it was. Okay, and he was the successor of his father. And in being the successor, he's the one that put all that hell upon the house of Israel. Okay, Samaria, so you can understand the Latin-speaking tribes, so you can understand, and took him away into captivity. Okay, so when you read this scripture here, and it says, "I shall bring the whole house of Israel, even all of it," that goes as far as to saying that what? After this captivity that they took away the house of Israel, boom, okay, they've gone, right? A whole 9 tribes is gone. You ain't just gonna have Judah come back and they was gonna be just there. That's just it. You're gonna have all 12 tribes come, even all of it. That's why the scripture goes to the extent of saying that, because the understanding of the history was that what? That you was gonna have a split. You're gonna have 2/3 of the nation go out there into the Americas, and subsequently the whole nation goes out there into the Americas by way of captivity after a certain amount of time has passed. Okay, and after that, all of the 12 tribes was going to come back and boom, they're in the land. So that goes to show you the people that are out there within the land of Israel right now, they ain't the people of the Most High. That's not the Jews, man. Okay? So it says here, within the book of, back within the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, and this is, okay, this is the 11th verse. It says, "I'll multiply men upon you, beasts, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I'll settle you after your old estates, and do unto you better unto you than at your beginnings, and you shall know that I am the Most High." And one of the reasons the Most High is going, are you all right there, my man? You okay there?
Yeah, man, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You carry on. You do your thing.
You from America?
Nope, I'm not.
Oh, you are what was it, Australian?
Nope.
Where's the accent from?
I have an accent?
You sound like you have an accent. Apologies if I've heard it wrong.
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Oh, you're Canadian. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So getting back onto the scriptures. Okay. Well, I'll let y'all say this. America is going to be destroyed. According to the Bible.
Destroyed?
Yeah, according to the Bible, America is going to be destroyed.
Really? So I should get out of there?
If I was you.
Yeah?
If I was you, I would get a credit card, depending on where your lineage goes back to.
America or Canada?
Depending on where your lineage is, well, really, the whole idea of this rulership is going to be destroyed. So NATO, Canada, America, all of that is going to be no more.
Who's going to do it?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be the Lord that's going to do it. God.
The Lord's going to. The Lord.
Ultimately.
Which Lord?
The Lord creates.
Lord of the Bible.
The Lord creates.
And destroys. And destroys.
I don't know.
That's the Bible within the book of Samuel, the 2 Samuel 1:6. It says, "The Lord creates, He destroys. He bringeth up from the grave, He bringeth down to the grave." In fact, the scripture goes as far as saying the issues of death belongeth unto the Lord. Okay? When you say the Lord is the Most High, you're saying God is above both good and evil. The very word, I believe, I don't know if it's omnipotent, excuse my pronunciation. Omnipotent. I don't know if it's that word, but there's another word that sounds the same. There's all knowing or all seeing. Okay, and if you know everything,
to be omnipotent is to
is omnipotent, right? To know everything is to know both evil and good. Okay, Satan is not out there fighting against God. Satan works for God. Because the Most High, the one you call God, controls both good and evil. He's the perfect balanced way.
So why is he going to destroy America?
Because of wickedness. Because he has controlled the wickedness that happens in America to the point where it's too much. Right. He's orchestrated the wickedness to be so high, so he destroys it. So you fear him more.
How have you got this interpretation there?
It's in the scriptures. It's in the scriptures. I'll read the scriptures.
Interpret America as being the bad there.
I'll read it for you. So the book of Revelation is the 17th chapter, and you can I'm gonna have you break this down for me, and we see if we come to the same crossroad. Okay, the same crossing point. So Revelation 17:1, it says, I'll go straight to the point. It says, it says, I'll show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay? So what does it mean when it says sitteth upon many waters? What does that mean?
Well, it's just trying to label the person who creates. Well,
no.
Most powerful.
Okay, good. Waters in this instance, when you read the whole chapter, is many people. There's a lot of people. Let's get into it.
Once America's gone, there's going to be somebody who's more powerful than America.
Exactly.
This people.
So
it's just fighting who's ever at the top.
No. Once you have this war play out, which is World War III, you're going to have a re-establishment of the whole entirety of the earth. You're going to have the Russians come and beat America, and that's just it. You're going to have a whole restructure of how everything's played out upon the earth. Okay, but let's get back onto this. Let's not run too fast. So let's see if we come to the same cross point. Okay, so it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornications, and the inhabitants of the earth have drunk and have been made drunk of the wine of the wrath of the fornications. So by your understanding, what does that statement mean?
Well, it just seems like the richest and most powerful person. But,
Right. So what the scripture's telling you there is all of these nations that you have on earth have drank off the wine of the wrath of fornication. Okay, right? They've become rich off of these ideas, these philosophies, government. Okay, policies. These are ideas. This is what you call wine within the scriptures, because it's not doctrine as pursuant to the scriptures. It's just wine. Wine is not just something you drink. It's something your mind also drinks.
I just think it sounds outdated. I think it would have been
the scriptures
1,000 years ago.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, let me hit you up with this then. If the scriptures is outdated, this is the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 16th verse. He causeth all, both small and great, right, rich and poor, right, free and bond, to receive a mark upon his right hand or on his forehead, right, that no man might buy or sell, right, save ye have the mark. Is that outdated?
Well, there is
no. Is it outdated?
Buying and selling people. So
okay. No. Listen to what the scripture says.
So what's the plan?
He causeth both small and great to receive a mark, right, upon his hand, both rich and poor, that he might not buy or sell, save he has the mark. You have to have this mark to buy or sell. What is this mark? Okay, what you know what an RFID chip is?
No.
Okay, RFID chip is pretty much a modern day thing, okay?
Yeah.
Right, although these scriptures is written thousands and thousands of years ago, this very scripture has just been fulfilled out there within America, in Wisconsin. Okay, you have to have an RFID chip implanted within you to access certain amounts of information. Now the grander scheme that's going to be played out is this RFID chip is going to be mass instituted so that you can go out there within your customers and make payments having this mark on you.
Okay,
so
what's the plan?
So that's the plan.
What's the plan here to avoid Armageddon here?
Well, if you're off the Israelites, right, which you might be an Israelite. I don't know if you got Hispanic descendants, all right. But the Israelites, they're gonna be exempt from the judgment of that's gonna be played out.
I'm of Italian descent.
Oh, you might be an Israelite. Sicily, okay.
That's
all of them people. Oh, Sicily. So you're an Israelite. You're an Israelite.
So I'm exempt.
Well, if
in
you
this
believe,
situation?
if you believe in the Most High, the true understanding of the scriptures, then you could be exempt from the judgment that's going to be played out. But I'll tell you one thing.
So I live in America.
Yep.
Armageddon takes place because I'm Israelite. I'm going to be, say, I believe in the plan.
Understanding. Yep.
So, like, I'm going to be spared.
Yeah.
How so?
Just the same way the Most High spared a lot. Lot was spared from the destruction of Sodom. Noah is an even better example.
I'm living amongst...
Noah is a great example. The whole earth was flooded with water. Yeah. Noah still escaped.
He did.
So you gotta use your imagination. If fire is gonna come up all up in this place, then you're gonna need an extraterritorial.
I think you nailed the nail right on the head.
Right.
Imagination.
It's not imagination.
Yeah,
it's
imagination.
It's true.
Imagination wrote those scriptures.
Well, hold on a minute. I've just read you something within the scriptures that's actually happening here. I've just read it to you.
You know that it's happened, or
this is happening
because you read it?
No, this is happening. They are instituting a RFID chip so you can buy or sell with it.
Just like in America, you read news, you read you read opinion, you read ideology and stuff like that. Because you read it, you believe it?
Oh, of course. That's where faith comes into it. That's where faith. You gotta still have faith.
If you read,
you gotta have faith.
You read right-wing ideology. Do you believe it?
No, because that's not scriptures. There's no faith within.
As long as
it's gonna be
scriptures.
As
there's some connection to the Bible, it's true.
No. The Bible is true. Everything else could be false. You gotta have supporting material. Do you believe in the scriptures yourself?
I believe in. I believe in some form that there's somebody above us.
Right.
I don't know where, but I know that when I die and leave this earth, I'm going to go on a spirit journey. My spirit's going to go on a journey that I don't know where I'm going.
Where'd you get that information from?
From
opinion.
Just from opinion.
Okay, but see, here it is. I'm reading something.
From listening to people that have died and have been revived and told me what they've experienced.
Well, so they had an outer body type experience.
Well, they had a lot more experience in dying than I did.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But the fact of the matter is, right? Fair enough. The fact of the matter is, you're coming off of what somebody has said. You're coming in nowhere different to what has been written within the scriptures. You're telling me that I'm telling you stuff that's been written and been transpired from age to age to age, and you're coming in exactly the same way.
I lost my...
We're on basically what you're arguing that I'm incorrect about is the same thing. Is the same stance you have.
I didn't say you're incorrect.
Oh, fair enough. Anyways, all you need to know is this: you're an Israelite, okay? Right? If you choose to believe in the doctrine the way I'm teaching it, you might be exempt. If you're not, that's not my problem.
Somebody that was born in York here, they're not Israelites?
Not necessarily. Lineage is lineage. If your lineage goes back onto the Israelites, you'll be
right.
If it goes back onto the Israelites,
name me some culture that's not.
The Edomites. He's probably an Edomite.
What's an Edomite?
An Edomite is when you had within the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, two people are born to Isaac, Jacob and Esau. Okay, Jacob was going to rule the earth that you're going to have now after this World War III plays out. Esau was going to be the last one to rule in it. Okay, so we go to the book of 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. It says Esau's going to be ruling the earth as it exists now, and Jacob was going to inherit that comes after. That is to say, the people that are in rulership right now, the elite banking families, they're Edomites. Okay?
Right.
Does that make sense? That whole nation of people, I'm not talking about government leaders, I'm talking about beyond government leaders. What you know as the Illuminati, their lineage is of Esau. Okay? Now ultimately, all nations, right, whether you call them Chinese, Japanese, all of these nations have ancient biblical names. Okay? The Chinese are the Moabites. Alright, and the Bible has prescribed a certain amount of judgment to the Moabites. The Japanese are Ammonites. A certain amount of judgment is going to go upon them.
So you're saying one's lineage is going to represent who they are in life?
Of course. You take your father's surname, don't you?
Where's Moses?
Not out of choice.
Well, traditionally you take your father's.
Do you have a spare 10 pounds?
No, I'm broke.
Yeah.
I'm broke, mate. You take your father's characteristics, mate. You take on your father's characteristics. There's just no two ways about that. Okay, your heritage, when you're talking about inheritance in terms of wealth, that goes via a patriarchal system. I'm not talking about this new way of living, this new existence. Biblically speaking, you take your inheritance money-wise from your parents, from your father's line, and your characteristics goes from your father's line.
I think that's when you're a more traditional way of it, like 1,000 years
well,
ago.
when you're talking about a land mass, a whole entirety of the land of Israel, and you say, boom, this belongs unto the Jews now by way of the Balfour Declaration, you're using that old same system to give people their land. But that's not the real Jews. So when those people say, look, we're the Israelites, you're going to ask them how they are the Israelites, because their family line, their father's line goes back onto these people. The same thing goes for Esau. Okay, when you read in this Bible and it says, this is the judgment that's going to go to Esau, you have to follow the father's line all the way on up to Esau, and then you find out who it is now. Okay. By way of their characteristics, by way of the things that the scripture talks about that they was going to be attributed to them. Does that make sense? So
well, I understand. Obviously, I'm following what you're saying, but I don't know.
Oh, you guys, that's fine, man. So, it ain't for everybody. Like I said, you Esau. I believe you might be an Edomite, and if I was you, I'll get a credit card, max it out, live it good, because it ain't gonna be good for Esau pretty soon. The scripture talks about a great future judgment for the house of Esau.
Timeline. Give me a timeline.
Timeline. We're in the end times right now. You got World War III popping off with Russia and America right now.
No, it's not.
Oh, but it just is.
No, it's not.
Okay. So speak to me. Tell me this. What do you call sanctions? What's a sanction? What's that an act of?
Maybe it's like a preliminary shot.
A sanction is an act of war.
Sanction isn't that.
No, a sanction is
control.
Exactly.
An act of control.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else an act of control is? Besieging a city, an act of control.
It's
besieging. When you besiege a city, how do you besiege a city
Russia and America are the same thing. What you're describing.
How do you besiege a city? What's the modern way of besieging a city?
A city.
Yeah. Besieging a city. Do you know what to siege a city is?
Well, besieging is obviously to besiege around the city.
Okay, so how'd you do that?
Well, I guess,
it's done incrementally. You know, you get a plan and you implement the plan.
Okay,
and
good,
it's done incrementally.
Good. Now, what's the modern day way of doing that without moving troops over there? Mind you, all the way along Poland, Lithuania, right, all of that whole thing there, the whole line of countries, there's already military troops over there. So that thing of war, that's another way we could go down that route. But speaking on sanctions, that's another way you can besiege a city. In that you're gonna cut off all of their exports out there. It's an act of war.
Like the gentleman says here.
It's an act. Well, here's the sequence of modern day warfare. Okay, you got trade wars. Trade wars lead into hot wars. That's the sequence. Okay, let's check your history. What happened before World War II? Who was getting sanctioned? Okay, check it out, and then you find out who's going to be. The history of war is going to tell you the times, the wars that we're going to get into now. Okay, you got trade wars popping up all over the world right now, which is going to lead into hot wars. But the thing with America and Russia, okay, beyond trade wars, you got into where you got troops, American troops, all the way on down from Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, all the way on down on Russia's borders. That's war. That's an act of war.
It's an act of defense, really.
It's an act of war. Defense of what? What country has got 19 aircraft carriers in the world?
Well, it's not the Spanish. I'm guessing you're going to say it's the Americans.
It's the American government. So what are they in defense of?
Well, they represent the United Nations. Well, a good part of it.
Yeah, but what are they in defense of? What are they defending?
They're defense of their allies and themselves.
Okay, who are their allies that they're defending?
Allies is anybody? Well,
no, who is this ally that they're defending from?
Where they have self-interest.
Exactly. You know, again, when you understand histories of wars, you find out someone usually has an interest in a particular land. They can make merchandise off of that. They take that city, and there's another opposing force that has another vested interest within that same land. Syria, for instance, Iran, for instance. Okay, and then you have wars popping up.
Let's take this conversation to Africa. Okay, I imagine that's the land of your ancestors.
My people moved into Africa, but my ancestry goes back onto Israel, like I said. But yeah, you take Africa for an example.
Yeah, okay, like Africa. I mean, it's one of the most the nation that seems to suffer from all the scourges and of war, like
right.
And they're like the forgotten people. There's a war where genocide happens in Rwanda, and nobody gives a shit. 13 people get killed in Barcelona, and the whole world's like, whoa, what the heck?
Right.
Like, and then you have a million Rwandans get killed, and it's like, oh hum.
Right.
Okay, explain that to me.
Okay, listen.
What's that got to do with anything on the grand scheme of war?
Well, no. I just took this conversation to a place where you're from.
Yeah,
okay, like,
I'm not
what's
African,
taking
though.
place there? You see, you even forgotten it yourself. You failed to bring like the. You speak about America. You speak about America, what they've done in the world, and the genocide they've committed, and what's about to happen. What about in Africa, where the Americans don't really have a direct, influence?
What are you talking about? What do you know is fair trade? What's fair trade?
Listen, the
What
Americans.
is fair trade?
The Americans only there because they have a self-interest.
Yeah, but what is fair trade?
They don't have any interest in Africa.
But what's fair
right?
trade?
Because they don't care.
What's fair trade?
There's no oil for them. There's no influence.
No, that's where you're wrong. That's why I'm answering your question with fair trade. Fair trade is beneficial to more so English.
Excuse me for a minute, please. Just 1 minute. Excuse me. It's too busy there. We're going somewhere else. So if you find
Right.
Oh, you're getting
fair trade. Right. Oil in Nigeria. Okay. Oil in Nigeria. Okay. Right, this what's happening all out there in Somalia, that's all American influence.
Yeah, but why isn't America prominent there in stopping wars? Why are they letting that part of the world? Why are they letting that part of the world implode?
Ultimately,
why are they letting millions of people get slaughtered?
Ultimately, that's null and void. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not concerned about what's happening in Africa.
Well, you're
I'm concerned about what's happening out there within the Middle East.
They're part of the world, and if you're going to preach here about what America's indiscretions have been all over the world,
right, I'll put it to you
should also talk about the indiscretions committed where America has no influence.
I'll put it to you like this: where does it say that within the scriptures? Now, I do actually,
Listen,
to be correct, I do preach about that. I do preach about